Hello, guys. Welcome back to another exciting episode on the show Control or Be Controlled, a podcast designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And I remain your host, Darlington. Today's guest is Michael. Michael, I kind of struggle to pronounce your other name. Can you help us?
Magruch. No, easy. Magruch. Michael Magruch.
Okay, Michael Magruch. Michael believes we have been asking the wrong question about success, creativity, and even what it means to be human. He's a multimedia artist and author of 5 books, former Newport Beach Arts Commissioner and creativity awareness educator. He argues that creativity isn't just for artists, it's a fundamental human superpower. So growing up as a neurodivergent child, it forced him to think differently, and that perspective has helped him uncover hidden patterns in leadership, communication, business, education, and human behavior. The central message is simple yet profound. When we become truly aware of who we are as human beings, change happens naturally. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Michael.
Nice.
Thank,
Yeah. Go ahead.
okay, thank you so much, Michael. So I have some questions here for you, and before that, I would also like you to introduce yourself briefly to my audience.
I'm just Michael. That's it. I mean, you can read all this stuff afterwards. I don't want to take your time. You
Okay.
can go on michaelm.com, which is Michael with 2 L's, m.com, and just, you can read and whatever. If you like this talk, if
Okay.
Darlington and I dance for you, we will dance for the audience.
All right. So let's get into the questions I have for you.
Okay.
Talking about awareness, that awareness trumps everything. You often say
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Tell us what that means and why you believe awareness is the starting point for lasting change.
Because knowledge is just it's just from the perception. You can perceive linear, which means Darlington is in Africa, I'm here in America. That's logically, and they go through a technical thing called Riverside and talk to each other. Or I can say Darlington and Michael, we're always connected. They're part of each other, and they bumped in each other and they talked. Nature is nonlinear, where systems are linear. That's why I separate between human-centric and system relevant. You can be a CEO or a president or whatever, and you can be living and have great wealth. But when it's over in the system, when you're not the president, not the CEO, you're over. You have to have a lot of savings that you can ever exist further. And I think there comes in the control also, because we try to control and always be fine, but life is not fine all the time. It just happens. And the nonlinear thinker is the one that actually thinks like nature and is aware. So you say, oh, and you study everything about getting a baby. When you have a baby, it's totally different. And the awareness that when you have a baby, is different than whatever. You can read all the books in the world. You will never know what it is to be a baby if you don't have a baby. So that's why men cannot tell women. And even for men, it's also different. But men cannot tell women what it is to have a baby because we have never felt it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. That makes sense, Michael. We have actually never felt it, so we cannot tell what it means to have a baby.
We are not
Okay,
aware.
so
We are not aware. We know everything. We can read all the books. The man can read all the books about getting a baby. But we never have the experience when one woman talks to another how it was to have a baby,
okay, so tell us, you make a distinction between living a system relevant life
Yeah.
and a human-centric life. Can you
Yes.
explain the difference and why is that distinction so important today?
This hangs together with what we talked about. It's system relevant is I have the knowledge that a bird does this and this and this, but I'm not the bird, so I'm not aware why I do this and why this is actually a wisdom that I make a nest in the winter or I bury some fruits or whatever. We don't know. We don't know what the context is. So in the content, we are very good. Now that's knowledge, that's books, that's systems, which is one, then comes two, then comes three. But nature is 1, 8, 16, 15, 14, 24. Nature is non-linear. It's non-linear, and that's why it helps a lot to be aware of that. I'm not saying you need to choose one life, but you need to know that human is, we have everything. We are perfect as we are. We are born perfect. But in order to experience this experience, we had to believe we are nothing. And we start from nothing and forget everything that we are and then remember all the stuff that we are. And linear goes, everybody can be linear, because if I say Darlington is number one, Michael is number two, or if I say Michael is number one and Darlington is number two, but that's not it. We are both one of one that exists from 8 billion people, and you are one and I'm one of 8 billion people. We have a unique DNA, and nature has made us one of one. Therefore, we cannot compare. We can compare. Oh, Darlington does, he's a better spearsman. I'm a better soccer player. You can compare that, but not in better. You are good in one thing. I'm good in another thing. It doesn't. Nobody's better or worse, or all of them would be the same. And we are not the same. When you generalize in system relevance, which always generalizes because that saves money and that handles masses better. So when you generalize all men are the same, you know that not all the men are the same, and you know all the women are not the same either.
Okay, Michael, thank you so much. So, moving on, talking about creativity, you describe creativity as one of humanity's greatest superpowers.
Yeah.
Why do you
Is it
believe creativity? Why do you
number
believe
one?
creativity belongs to everyone, not just artists?
Because in our species, as human, I think I coined that's my perception, because I only have one perception. So I'm not saying I'm right or I'm better. I'm not an authority or an expert. But when you look at humanity, I think humanity is the collective, the collaborative, creative superpower or species. Hold on. That's my neurodiversity. Just coming. Collaborative, creative species of nature, which means when we work together, we can solve everything. Because nature, Earth doesn't make you that you can't solve anything. Only when we make distorted things, that don't fit right in systems. So when we make a system failure, doesn't mean it is a natural failure, but we see it as a system failure and then go in the failure direction and leave that away and put this out of nature. So we are part of nature, and therefore I think creativity is the superpower of humans, because it's not the superpower of an ant. The ant makes an anthill always the same. Well, I don't know. I assume that. Or an elephant lives the same. A giraffe lives the same. But humans don't. They create New York. And they're all created collaborative. There wouldn't be a New York. There wouldn't be any dam, any big project in any city, in any nation, if there wasn't, that depth of working together, and my part, I contribute my part, you contribute your part, like in this podcast. It wouldn't work if I just talk, and it wouldn't work if you just talk.
Okay,
Make sense?
that's actually true. Yeah. That makes sense. So,
Yeah.
growing up as a neurodivergent child gave you an outside the box perspective. How has that shaped
Yeah.
the way you see the world and solve problems today?
Yeah. So there is also, I think this is where I found out the system relevant and the human centric. I think that was because I was, I was held back and started school with 7. I was sick. I was, and the system couldn't do anything with me. And 50 years ago, they were not so aware than now. 50 years, they said to me, go to a doctor. I went to a doctor. They said, oh, he's dyslexic, mixing numbers up and cannot do the alphabet like the ABC. I would say A, E, F. As I couldn't put it together, and I couldn't read. And the people, they were saying we don't know what to do with him and not to interact with him because he's different. Yeah, but not animal. Every animal is like a cow or like a horse. There's different brains, and every brain is different, and every source is different. And I prove that when you look at my perception, I have a different perception. I'm invited to so many podcasts because I have a different perception of life than you, for example. But we all have a different perception. But when it's extreme with me, I cannot do the normal task like reading is hard for me, and writing was, now writing is, I'm very comfortable. I wrote 8 books. So, but everybody's different. And it is not that you're not good because you don't have a doctor, you only go. And it's also the crazy thing that it happens then, in the old days, there were like 50 years ago, there was 1 or 2 doctors in a big town. Now there's everybody a doctor because doctor is not enough. You have to prove your one of oneness and how you are a specialist or how you're good. And that, does that help anybody? I don't believe so. But I believe every human is one. When I see another human, I say, oh, there's a human. Then I see, oh, he's Chinese. Oh, he's a girl. Oh, that is that human that I see is more than that. But it's primarily I look at them and say, oh, that's a human first. I don't know if you're black or white. I don't know that. I assume you're black because you're coming from South Africa, but I don't care because your soul, I'm talking to your soul. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you so much, Michael. So, you have worked across art, business, education, and leadership. What hidden patterns have you discovered that connect all of these fields?
Not to control. Not to control. To accept that everybody is one of one. So therefore, I cannot tell you, take an aspirin. If I took an aspirin and saved my life, does not mean at all that I say, okay, if you take your aspirin, it's going to save your life. No, you can get an anaphylactic shock and die. You know what I mean? It's just, you can't tell other people what to do because also the people don't want to be sold too. Nobody wants to be sold. Oh, I have the best car for you, whatever. No, they want to see what Freddie has the car and then buy what Freddie has or a better car. They think that Freddie cars is. They not want to be sold. And if they don't need a car, they don't want to buy a car. But you can control them, manipulate them into, a need that is, oh, the world is going on there. You need a new car. Yes. Whatever. It's a manipulation of my perspective And I think we don't have talked about, everybody's a one-on-one, we have talked about that, but everybody has also a different perspective of life. So darling, if you sit there or here, or sitting here, or I sit in Africa with you, we have a different perspective of that moment. So we are together for half an hour in Africa. We have a different perspective of that moment, even if I sit right next to you. So that's also scientifically proven. I don't know why nobody takes that on, but no one talks about that.
Okay, Michael, thank you so much. So, in a world obsessed with productivity and achievement, how do we shift our focus from success to genuine fulfillment?
Because where your passion is. Your one-on-oneness, the most direct way of your one-on-oneness and my one-on-oneness is if you go to our passion. So if podcasting is your passion, really passion, a fulfillment, then you should do it. You should not be an accountant if you don't want to be an accountant. I know my best friend is an accountant. He loves to be an accountant. But in general, if you want to be doing sports and you want to play soccer, you should play soccer. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how good you are. You should play soccer because that's your passion. You can't wake up, you think about the ball. You wake up in the morning, think about the ball. You should play soccer. Not right away, but, you should be aware of that. So, and then the other, if you have to go work, I'm not saying, no, just stop working and do this. No, you go work in whatever time you have because you wake up with a soccer ball in your head, go play soccer, and whatever your passion is, working with animals, cooking food, all this stuff, where you cannot stop it. You can work 8 hours in the kitchen and not get tired of it because you love it, or see people, or do negotiating or whatever your passion is. Don't do anything that you have to go, and never say, I'm going to do this to then do my passion, because that doesn't work either. Because that's saying, I'm doing all the hard work to be successful. That never works. You have to do this because the work is so exciting, and then success is the icing on the cake. Doesn't mean it should never be, your final goal should never be dependent on your joy of working, because the path to the final goal is the success. If you enjoy the path to the final goal, that's your success. That's all the success you need. Good?
Right, Michael, thank you so much. Okay, so you often separate problems into human relevance and system relevance. How can leaders and organizations benefit from thinking this way?
Okay, because it's okay. You have to know the background of system. System is a noble intent. It's always human centric. The system is always, so. For example, let's say somebody in a tribe, 1,000 years ago, needed to have, he was really good with horses, and the people saw he is good with horses. And then the people say, can you take care of my horse? And I bring you fruit and from the hunt meat home. Then you don't have to go hunt. And he said, yes. So that's the first time his system did. And he was he was better in horses than you and I could be. So we said, hey, let's go, Freddie, and give him the horses. And that would help. But it wouldn't help to, when the system runs out of money or cannot afford to keep the horses, or needs to expand. There needs to be other growth than expansion. He says, I cannot take what the right thing would be when you run out of money, when you cannot fulfill to take care of the horses as good as you can. You got to take less horses, not more. You don't expand. So that's the opposite. Everybody wants to scale, expand, and bigger, and that doesn't work. And what works better is to rather have less horses instead of 10 having 8 horses, but having the same treatment and love for the horses, so that people really feel comfortable giving Freddie the horses. And when this noble intent or cooking, let's say he cooks for the whole tribe, so you don't have to cook. When this noble intent goes away for money, to make more money, then it's a problem with the system, and it's outdated. And mostly humans run the systems, as you know. And when the leader of that system says, but I need more money, instead of I need to make my noble intent better quality. I need to take better care of horses, need to make better food or whatever. But I cannot scale. So scale is opposite of the noble intent why we made system in the first place. And that's the the systems that outdate most people. You asked me the question of how to keep it relevant, because when you outdate as a system and just do it for the money, the quality gets worse and worse, and the people get more dissatisfied, and then the system goes under anyway, because nobody wants to give Freddie the horses anymore, because he has, he cannot do it. He has 100 horses and can really do only 10. So do you understand it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you so much. Mike, is there a question you wish I would have asked you that I have not asked you?
Yeah. A question? Why don't we talk about control?
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about control.
No, because that's why I really was attracted to your show.
Okay, so let's talk about control.
Yeah. So having said all this was actually a good leadway. This is how, having talked about this, the human says, the system doesn't work, so I want to scale. I need more money. And when you do that, you need to control it. You need to tell people, no, we still have the best car. And the car is not the best anymore. As you know, there's a lot of cars that are not the best anymore, and people bought them because they were the best. And when people say, no, they're better and this and that, and the people have to be controlled. They have to be manipulated into that. And control basically is, when you see it in emotion, it's the opposite of, it's fear-based. It's suppressed anger. It's you control because you're afraid of love. You're not trusting love. Basically, control is you're not trusting love, and the opposite of love is fear. And so it's fear-driven. Control is a very fear-driven emotion because you don't trust love, and so you have to control. You have to get out of it. You have to pull yourself out and see a difference. Oh, there's Darlington. I have to control him, or he controls me. And that's how people segregate. What are you saying to it?
Yeah, definitely. I think I have the same thoughts as you. You're always looking to control. I myself always look to control the outcome of things I do in my life. But I realized that when I let go of control, things started going better.
Everything goes, right? All the stuff that you have goal, and you try to what the system also says, you have to work to get that goal and have to really suffer and struggle. And then it's the hardest thing to get a goal is suffer, struggle, and hard work. The easiest to let go, like you said, let go, stop it, let go, and just live life in that direction. I can live life going west, east, north, and south. I don't have to go, my goal is in the west, then I go west. But I might go east sometimes and north because that shortens my path. I don't know that. I think the straight line I was taught the straight line is the fastest line, but it's not, because if it goes over hills, you cannot go the straight line. It's better to go around the mountain, and don't have to have the the snow and the bad weather on top of the mountain. It's better to go around the mountain. It's a little bit more, but it's actually the fastest way. And I enjoy the path. It's about enjoying the path. What I told you in the beginning is just, you gotta enjoy life. You cannot make life a system thing for everybody, because there will be some people that like the system directions, and some that don't.
Michael, thank you so much. This has been very, very exciting. It's a fascinating conversation to listen to, and something that we can go on and on and on and on talking about.
Yeah.
So, I want to know, for those who want to connect with you and learn more about what you do, how
What
can
you
they?
say? Say that again. I didn't hear.
So
Didn't
for
hear
those who would like to connect
the
with
audio.
you, those who
Oh,
want to connect with you and learn more about what you do.
it's like Michael. I put in a thing. Michael with two L's. MICHAELLM.com. So it's what is that? And from there you can do my 900,000 podcasts all over the world as a guest, and wrote 8 books, 5 are published. I wrote a lot of articles on LinkedIn. So there's all the stuff is there to guide you through. I have a podcast that's called Humanity Unboxed with a South African, actually, that's weekly. So this is the fun that we're doing. I enjoy every moment of it. I enjoy it with you. I basically don't have any hobbies or anything, because I just like to do what I do. Then you don't need hobbies. Then you don't need I think I wasn't on vacation for 20 years because I love what I do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Thank you so much, Michael. And thanks to my audience as well. You
Pleasure.
guys are one of the reasons why we are able to do this. Thank you all
Yeah.
so much for coming to my show, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye, Michael.
Thank you.